John, congrats on Spellbound. I really enjoyed the film, and you play this minister at first, and then you get transformed into this animal sidekick. It's so fun. The director said that that transformation wasn't initially in the script. So did you get to see that role kind of morph over time? Because it's a much more active than it seemed like it was initially planned to be.
Yes, well, I can tell you a story about that. Yeah, there was no such plot twist in the first script I saw of the entire film. I just did my best kind of hand-wringing counselor to the princess, Bolinar, sort of developed that character in front of a microphone, had a lot of fun with it, and I saw a lot of mock-up animation. And Vicky Jensen, our director, whom I knew from Shrek, she gave me a wonderful sense of the entire film, a film that really moved me tremendously because it's about, although it's a delightful and comic film, it's about some very serious things. But clearly, Bolinar is comic relief. So I gave it all I could and just hoped for the best. When you record a voice, you sort of show up once every 6 months or so to add a new verse to a song or do a rewritten scene. Well, a lot of time passes and you don't hear much. Well, a lot of time went by, like 10 months, and I heard nothing. And I thought, well, I guess they've replaced me. They found a better Bolinar. It's happened to me before. It's animated films. They shuffle around voices. But no, I got a call, was brought in. It turned out in the meantime, they had tested a very rough mock-up of the film, I think in Tucson or something. And Bolinar had been a huge hit. And they decided to give him this extraordinary plot twist where he switches bodies with Flink. And suddenly, instead of my voice coming out of the Bolinar animated figure, my voice came out of Flink. And they even created this amazing song just for me. Alan Menken and Glenn Slater, they went to work and they wrote, I could get used to this. When Flink for the first time, uh, well, Bolinar for the first time tastes the food that Flink is accustomed to eating, that is, little maggots and larvae and worms. And it turns out he absolutely hates the notion. But then he tastes it and realizes not bad at all because it suits his new metabolism. Well, this all was given to me, including an entire recording of the song with a fabulous Broadway actor singing my song. And instead of thinking I'd been replaced, I learned that my part had been doubled, and I got to solo in an animated film to Alan Menken's music. I mean, it was a fabulous day,
Yeah,
and
that's so special. And that song is a real standout in the film too. And as you mentioned, Menken's just a genius. And you know, like you said, you're not just part of this song, you're part of a few others, but you are like the solo vocalist for this.
well, we had
How crazy was that experience that you got to solo this song? And it's really special. It really goes to the themes of the film as well.
It was a dream come true. I have to say, I was quite intimidated by it because, well, for one thing, to my shame, I have forgotten the name of this wonderful Broadway actor who did the temp voice. Boy, I wish I had it. In fact, let's look it up because he is a real Broadway star. He's in Prom and many other things. Track that down because he deserves a shout out. But he was so good that I was afraid, oh my God, I'm never going to do it as well as he. But I really applied myself. The thing I absolutely dreaded was hitting that last long note. But we recorded the whole song. I think there were two sessions because by the time I came back to it, they'd rewritten some of the lyrics. Worked very hard with um, um, and I've forgotten the name of that great vocal coach too, who helps all the Hollywood actors sing songs. Uh, I'm going to find his name too for the next several interviews because he's great. Uh, and and I came in and I finally recorded everything, and we saved that last long held note till the very end. And I braced myself. I took a huge uh, lung full of air, and I just and I could see everybody behind the glass, like getting, holding their breath. Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? And they were completely elated because I had knocked it out of the park after struggling through all these recording sessions. And he only took one take. I only did it once. They didn't dare try it again.
That's incredible, and that work really paid off. And what's so great about that song is, you're carrying the tune, but you're also really leading with the character first. Like what's so special about these types of musicals is that it's less about having, the greatest singer sing it. It's more about leading with the character and moving the story forward. I was curious if, like, since you are such an experienced actor and you're so great at crafting characters. Does that make it a little less intimidating since you can kind of focus on that, or what was it how was that?
I mean, I've done a lot of singing on stage. Starting when I was in college days, I was in like six or eight different Gilbert and Sullivan operettas, and often Bach, John Gay's Beggar's Opera. I ultimately did have done two big Broadway musicals. One of them ran for like a year and a half, the musical Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I won a Tony Award for Sweet Smell of Success on Broadway back in 2002 for Best Actor in a Musical, something that I'm usually embarrassed to even admit out loud because I ain't no singer. But just as you say, I'm a character actor singer. Everybody always invokes Robert Preston and Rex Harrison. If you can just put put the song over, people don't quite notice that it isn't the most beautiful singing in the world. And I hit all the notes, so at least if they give me enough chances.
Yeah, you're wonderful in this role, and I also loved you in Conclave. And what I loved about that movie is that deep down, even though it has this air of prestige because they're determining the Pope, it's all these very gossipy, scandal-driven men. It's like a little bit trashy in the funnest of ways, deep down, and it really just humanizes everything. What did you find most interesting about that role?
Just exactly what you have described. The fascinating duality between a sacred calling and very down to earth worldly ambitions, uh, emotions like envy and jealousy and greed and ambition. It's just marvelous, the tension in every single one of the characters on the great wide spectrum between faith and ambition. All of us sort of fall somewhere along that spectrum. And a lot of us characters keep those feelings deeply hidden or disguised. So, every single character has his own story to tell. And the story just everything fits together into this wonderful kind of suspense thriller plot, which has this astonishing surprise ending.
Yeah,
My own the ending to my story happens about three-quarters of the way through the film. But to me, what's fascinating for my character is, well, spoiler alert, he endures a great traumatic downfall, but he has to stick around because it's a conclave. It's sequestration. It's like he has to stay in prison. He can't just walk away in humiliation. He has to sit there among the College of Cardinals in humiliation. And I thought that was an amazing story to tell in one character's journey, one out of several. Uh, the terrible fall from great confidence, self assurance, if not arrogance, and dreadful humiliation. That was my story, but there are about 8 or 9 concurrent stories that get told, all of them performed by these wonderful international actors.
Yeah,
And
it's a fantastic film. And my last question for you, I used to watch Third Rock from the Sun so much with my grandfather, and we had so many great memories just laughing to that show. And it still holds up and is very fun to revisit. How do you just quickly view that show's legacy? Because it's such a comfort watch for me.
yeah, oh, it's so nice of you to bring that up. I loved the experience of Third Rock. It was 6 years of kind of nonstop, helpless laughter. You never saw us breaking up in the completed episodes, but we broke up constantly while we were rehearsing it. We just knew how funny we were, and we could hear it in the response of our studio audiences. It remains a, a show that just infallibly makes you laugh out loud. Just tremendous creation, I think. Third Rock. You just can't. You don't see that kind of comedy these days. Comedy seems to have transmuted into something much more complex and intellectual. This is just completely daffy. This wonderful swing between smart and stupid that is just we sort of had our own trademark kind of comedy, and it just made us all so happy.